Hey, I'm Ted. Today's video we're gonna work on building these cabinets, building the shelves over here in the bedroom, and put in the tongue and groove pine. Alright, so for the big storage dilemma, not so really dilemma, I think we have plenty, but might as well make the most of it. So I'm gonna build these shelves inside the wall. And they're kind of narrow. They're only because I use the 2x2s for the wall frame. You only got 1.5 inches, plus the 3/4 pine I'm going to put on the outside of the tongue and groove. So that gives me 2 1/4. So I just made these little box frames, or I'm going to make these little box frames. I cut everything up. Had a bunch of, not a bunch, but had some cedar left over from when I built the skylights. Again, big project. Repurpose everything. So I'm just going to build these little shelves, and again, it can't be too tall because stuff's going to fly out of it anyway, and I have to put some sort of bracket, well, I don't know, some sort of, I don't even know what you call it, some sort of guide on the front of it to keep stuff from flying. So I'm going to Craig jig these together. All right, I'm going to secure all the middle shelves first, and built this little handy dandy jig, basically just Craig jigged, pulls the 3/4 on in the end. And so what it does is, I need to put these, I want to put these middle shelves right directly in the middle. So you gotta, these are 18 inches, so half of 18 is 9, so 9 needs to go right in the middle, and then this is 3/4 inch thick, so half of that is 3/8, so I gotta go basically 8 5/8. So I just cut this one 8 5/8. I can set that on there, and immediately just put this on in place, that spot, and then screw it in. Now we don't have to keep measuring 9 million times for each one. And actually it should give me something a little bit sort of firm to hold up against so this doesn't slide around. Like that. Again, I think I'll put the short screws right in the middle anyway. Right, I was able to be able to hide the pocket holes on the top and the bottom shelves inside the wall. These ones going to be somewhat visible. They're going to be up kind of above, so I don't see it a whole lot, but I'll fill them in anyway with these little plugs. Just put a little bit of glue in there and stick them in and then sand them down. That top curve here, so I got my scribe stick with a point on it, and then I end up with, when I scribe, I usually use a marker rather than a pencil, because markers or pencils tend to get stuck in the grains of the wood and move all over the place, and this is a little bit better. So I clamped my piece to the side of the wall, and I like to use a straight edge to try to keep that as vertical as possible as I trace this line We'll see how it goes. Kind of working in a cramped space here. Okay, we've got everything trimmed out here. Put this little, I can find one more little piece there, just so stuff, maybe you can put stuff in there and it won't go flying out too much. I don't know, we'll try it. But yeah, it's pretty rustic. Kind of like the rustic look too, because it's not exactly perfect. It's okay, it's part of the style. So eventually I'll have to put some trim, I think up there. Actually, that was pretty good. Right in here, I got the contour right, but a little bit of more of a gap than I wanted. That's how it goes. This last top piece to fit in there, and sometimes it's tricky to get it tight in. So one trick is I took my my jigsaw, and I angled the base plate there about 45 degrees, and I cut this backside corner, and that will easier to rock it into place. Okay, so we're gonna build the doors, the cabinet doors, and I've cut all my rails and stiles here, and I got this coping jig, which is awesome. Actually, this thing works great, and it's good to cut the ends. Basically the tenon is gonna fit into the mortise, and so we're just gonna set it into our jig like this, clamp it down, tenon there, and you'll notice in this jig I've got this called a sacrificial piece, and that kind of helps support the fibers at the back end of the wood so it doesn't tear out. Alright, so now we're going to switch bits. This is what that one looked like. And now we're going to switch to cut the groove. Cut sort of the mortise on the other sides. So we'll switch to the stile bit. That was a rail bit. It comes in this little handy cabinet kit, which is actually awesome. You get a raised panel bit, drawer lip, get a we call a glue joint bit. So it's pretty handy to have. You can do a lot of stuff with it. Okay, now I'm going to put the doors together. So I got my panel, slide it in there like that, and again I got the outside down, and we'll just put a little bit of glue on the tenons. You don't really need clamps, but I find it's easy to hold everything in place. Kind of squeeze everything up. The other thing I like to do is just check them for square, so that's 20 and 9/16 that way, and 20 and a half that way. This is a little short. This needs to go out, so I'm gonna kick the whole thing that way just a little bit. Right, I set up my drill press to drill holes for the hinges. I got this old cabinet door that I keep kicking around, and I just kind of use that. It's the right distance away, so I create a fence by, you know, pushing this in there, pushing the drill bit down, and then making that all line up. So now I don't really have to measure. I can just push this up against the fence like this. I drew a couple lines on the back fence here, so I know, all right, I'm going to push it up to there. We're going to pre-drill the holes for the screws of the hinges, so I have this little bit that it centers it. So there's a bit inside this metal piece. When you push down, it's spring-loaded, and so the little metal piece actually centers it right directly into the holes. I'm going to mark the center of this outside edge here and put on a wooden knob. I want to get more creative with like some driftwood or something like that, but I just haven't found the right piece yet. So put this one on first, and find something down the road, we can change it out easy enough. Alright, so now I'm going to pre-drill some holes and countersink them here. I put the pocket holes to hold the face frame on about every 8 inches. That's about as wide as I dare to go. If you get much wider than that, then you start to get little bows in it. Probably should be 6, but I figured 8 would probably be alright. And now that's going to hold the face frame on. This is going to go on the bottom of the wall plate. And so I want to measure these out about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to use my combination square to mark that hole 3/4 of an inch. Right now, so I got the moment of truth now. Can we get our face frame to fit right? Would have been handy to grab my clamp first. Get my door up there so it's just about where I want it. I'm going to use that same drill bit that centers everything. Get a little marked holes there. I don't like to screw them in too tight to start, just sort of get them snugged up so then you can adjust them. They need to go up and down. Alright, so there's our bedroom carpentry work. We got the shelves here on the wall. I'll do a pan shot around. It's kind of tough to see in the smaller space up here. We got the cabinets and the tongue and groove on the walls. And again, future video I'll do the sort of the bed and how we're going to wind up doing storage down here. So yeah, it seems like the last couple of weeks we started at the front of the bus and worked our way back. Although next week I'm going to tackle the bathroom. So keep your eyes peeled up for that video. So. Thanks for coming along as always. Like, subscribe, do all those things that you do. Certainly appreciate it. And like I say, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.